Buying a battery is a pretty big deal. It's a big investment and you want to get it right. So here's 3 things to make sure that you get right before you make that purchase. G'day everyone, Dan and Matt here. Today we're just talking about the top 3 battery install mistakes and how you can easily avoid them. So number 1, I think the most important thing and the thing that we see most people get wrong is the sizing. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I guess 2 parts, the battery capacity size,
Yep.
also the inverter size.
Yes.
I almost think the latter is more important a lot of the time, because that's the one that's not normally talked about in as much detail.
Gets overlooked more.
Yeah, and we've obviously mentioned it in a few videos now, and I think the reason is because we're getting so many different inquiries. Nearly everything's always like, oh, I'm looking at this 30, 40, 50 kilowatt hour battery, and there's been no mention at all of the inverter size.
Which could be a 5 kilowatt inverter.
Absolutely, and that's the bottleneck of charge and discharge rate. So how quickly you can get your solar to fill up the battery or the grid if it's with a time-based retailer or a VPP, and then obviously to discharge the battery. So either for your home consumption, for a VPP to sell power, in backup mode, a couple of different options. And the smaller inverters are cheaper. Absolutely, and in some cases maybe they tick the network agreement box for the distributor, so there can be some reasons why that may be worthwhile, and we've certainly installed some with a 5 kilowatt inverter with potentially really low requirements, so very low consumption or single phase home, no big appliances or anything else, or very budget conscious, but that's a conversation that we want to go into in a lot of detail. And yeah, battery size obviously is the other one that's the magic number everyone talks about, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think everyone comes with you with, oh, I'm looking at a X kilowatt hour battery or kilowatt. It's always the wrong unit. Yeah. Normally when it's on one of those sort of on the wrong scale of what you want to look at. And you'd sometimes just wonder how that figure's been put down on an email or a piece of paper, because there's a fair bit of consultation there that goes into working out the right size, and 2 houses next door to each other may differ massively based upon your needs, what you have there. So yeah, getting the battery size incorrect or correct is obviously a real key, because that's going to be essentially how the system's going to work for 10 years or more. Really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Just want to clarify there what a few of those things mean. Someone watching this video that's brand new to solar energy, your battery size is obviously how much energy you can store and use, and then your inverter capacity was how much you can put into the battery and take out of the battery at one time. So that's important, because if you're using lots of stuff in your house, then obviously the amount of energy you can let out of the battery into the house is controlled by the inverter size. So if you're using 5 kilowatts of energy in your house and you only have a 5 kilowatt inverter, you're not going to have any more capacity to export into the grid.
Yeah.
You mentioned VPPs, time-based tariffs. They're just different options for your energy retailer and the way that works. So with a small with a small inverter, you're not going to be able to export as much to the grid, and that means that it devalues the VPP or the time-based tariff. So that's why it's important to have a good size inverter that matches the kilowatt hour storage and also matches what you need.
An analogy a customer said to me the other day actually was the way that they thought of it in their mind is they're filling up their bathtub.
Yep.
If you've got a really small tap or very restricted water pressure in the home, then obviously it can take absolutely ages to fill up the tub.
Yeah.
If you had a massive hose size, something that can fill that bath up much quicker, that's the way of looking at obviously what the inverter size is.
Yeah.
If you've got a small inverter, it could take 10 hours to fill the battery, of which you may not have 10 hours of solar generation or tariff availability, and vice versa. If you're on a VPP, you want to discharge and put that power out of the battery as quick as it can be. Yeah. So the inverter is always the bottleneck there.
Always, yeah.
And that's the size, as I said, the incorrect size, because a larger inverter may cost an extra $1,000 or maybe different, but that might be the difference in generating an extra $500 per year from your VPP.
Yeah.
Really, because whatever you sell to the grid is going to be after your home's consumption's been taken into account.
Yes.
So if you've got a 10 kilowatt inverter, you're using 5, there's only 5 spare after that that can go into the grid. So it's a real key to get both of those things spot on.
Yeah, comes down to the consultation, doesn't it, with whoever it is that's installing for you. You should be having a detailed conversation about how you use power, what time of day you use power, and then you can obviously reverse engineer that back into your load profile and into the battery size and the inverter size. And then lastly, just on this point before the next one, getting the panels right as well.
Yeah, true.
So making sure that you've got the correct amount of panels for what you need for when the power's there, and also potentially for when the power cuts.
Yeah.
Which probably leads on to the second point that people get wrong, is the wrong products for the wrong house. I think what happens is a lot of the time companies in our industry have one type of product that they potentially purchase in bulk or really want to push for one reason or another. So everybody that calls them gets the same thing. Really, it shouldn't be that way. And although right now we're installing a lot more SIG energy batteries than any other, that wasn't the case a couple of years ago, and it might not be the case a couple of years from now, but it's not all SIG energy. So depending on what the customer needs, the product changes.
Yeah, correct. Depending on what the requirements are in terms of backup, size, integration with other things in the home, hot water, aircon, EV, maybe even just a budget as well. So we have a couple of different products available here that we still install alongside SIG Energy. In a lot of the cases, it turns out that the SIG Energy hits the mark on pretty much everything that we've been asked to achieve. But I think having a range of products there, not just an abundance of one in stock, allows you to be flexible, because you might have some solar installed at the moment. You might have a hybrid inverter in the rare case, and that battery makes sense there. You might have a certain need for a certain product if it's single phase or 3-phase. No house is the same.
Yeah.
And there's some great quality products on the market. There's 4 or 5 that most reputable long-standing installers will offer a mix of, and would be happy to provide and install. Everyone's got their favorite, like anything, of course. And I guess it's a lot of that with the SIG Energy, as you mentioned before, a lot of that's been driven from the consumer.
Yeah.
I've never really known a product that much where the consumer is asking for the backup, the integration, the automation, whatever that might be, and it just seems that that's the one that ticks the boxes that people are asking for.
Yeah.
Maybe even size and where the battery needs to be installed, if it's in a garage or if it's a narrow side access, where the switchboard may be. There's so many variables there, and that's the stuff that we want to go over to make sure that is the right product. Even if that's what's been requested, let's just ensure it is first.
Yeah.
And then, coming back to the size of the battery and whatever else is needed there, because probably more than half of the systems we're doing are additions or replacements. Way more than half, actually. I'll probably go as far as to say right now.
Yeah, probably is now. Yeah.
And a lot of people will be on their second or maybe even third solar install now. They had a system maybe on the old feed-in tariff. They've changed that to a 6.6, which that sort of goes back to that question about getting the sizing correct. The 6.6 was never the right size. That was just the go-to size that was what the consumer asked for. Then it was a 10, then it was a 13. Just the way things have changed. So getting the products right with the right person, I think is the absolute key that we're going to talk about, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think the third point there is getting the right installer.
Yeah.
So the products, just before we leave that one, a good example of why it's important to do this. If you took the Clean Energy Council list of accredited solar panels from 2023 and you compared that list to 2019, in that period where panels were kind of just exploding and then settled back down to a relatively normal level, it was 83% of solar panel manufacturers were either no longer on that list because they'd stopped trading completely, or they were no longer on that list because they weren't serving the Australian market anymore. 83%, that's a staggering amount. And I remember back then going to trade shows and just seeing all these new panels every time.
Yeah.
And they were just coming and going so quickly. Now we've got this battery rebate. The same thing is happening with batteries, and the same thing will happen in terms of them disappearing. So it's crucial to get them right, not only so they're fit for purpose for you specifically and tailored for what you need, but also so they stand the test of time. And then the third point, the third mistake, is getting the wrong installer.
Yeah, I think the theme of most content we've done over the years has always been the right installer. And there's great installers across the country, wherever you're watching the video. We're not the only one, there's some amazing ones.
Yeah.
But there's obviously a real mix in the market as well. You've done this a bit longer than I have, and I'm sure you've seen how many 100,000 probably come and go now.
Oh, so yeah. I mean, there's been times where it's just felt like every single week there's been 100 new companies come and go.
Yeah.
And I remember way back in 2009 when it was just new companies starting and finishing just weekly, and it's happening again now. It's a low barrier to entry, meaning you can become a solar company very easily, very cheaply. I mean, unfortunately, you don't really even need any accreditation to do it. You can basically have a mobile phone and an ABN and become a solar company. It's so cheap to throw up a website that looks great these days. And if you're any good at talking to people, that's basically all you need. So because it attracts government rebates, it attracts a lot of people who think they can make money really quickly and probably either don't know what they're doing or don't care. And as you said before, this isn't everyone. Obviously, this is not a sales pitch. Like you said, this videos get watched all over the country. We can't service a lot of those areas. We're not saying you have to use GI Energy. What we're saying is do your due diligence. Make sure that the person that you're speaking to is giving you the time of day to do a really thorough consultation, identifying how you're using power, talking to you about backup, talking to you about the size of the inverter, talking to you in detail about the type of products, and then also what's going to happen after the install. Because, you know, a typical battery is a 10-year warranty, solar panels are 25 to 30. You want this system to last. So what's going to happen, you know, how do you future-proof it? What happens if something goes wrong? Those sort of things. I think most people will just intuitively find out if the person they're talking to is the right person for them to install. But it is quite easy to get it wrong as well, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some, as you mentioned, some great looking websites and stuff like that with very little information about who that person may be or who that company is. But they can look really glossy, and as can obviously numerous social media ads for the products that with a really low price. And the installation is key. It's how the system will operate, how safe it is, what happens if you have a query, a question about how anything works with it, the monitoring, you know what I mean, the integration with changing retailer, something like that. And then obviously if you have a big issue, what happens at that point? And that's unfortunately when you tend to see things obviously go the wrong way. And it's not all the time, but we get a lot of calls from people asking for help, and it's probably from a lot of the videos, because obviously we hope to give some great information that's helped them identify an issue maybe as well, that they may not have been aware of. And getting the right person to obviously, as you said, give you the time of day to install the right system firstly. If that's done right, you're halfway there anyway. Then it's just got to be installed correctly. And then if you have a problem or something from that point on, that's really where you've spent your money. That's what you're buying, really, is the way I've always looked at this, because there's always going to be a question about the system, always.
100%. And it's so often now that we're ripping off systems that we shouldn't have to, you know, not because it's the right thing to do for the future of the system, just because it's not working. And it's a shame that they don't have a warranty anymore, but it happens time and time again. So I guess, there's a lot more things to consider than these three, but getting the size in, the product and the installer is a really good place to start. And then we obviously have some other videos about different questions you should ask and how to future-proof and all that sort of stuff. So they're probably worth checking out if you're new to solar energy. We'll put a link in the description to the video for a battery guide as well. So it'll talk you through rebates and what else to look for when purchasing a battery. If we've missed anything or you have any questions, chuck them in the comments. We'd love to help if we can. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.